السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. عاملين ايه الأخبار؟ النهاردة إن شاء الله هنبدأ مع بعض في آخر كونسبت معانا في المنهج The Last Concept 4.2 واللي بعنوان Soil and Environmental Change. خلينا نقول بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ونبدأ زي ما احنا متعودين. في الكونسبت ده هنتكلم عن حاجة مهمة قوي، وطبعا عرفناها من التوبيك بتاع الكونسبت which is soil. So first of all, let me ask you a question. What are needs of the plant to grow? برافو. Sunlight, water, air, which contains carbon dioxide gas, of course, soil. Excellent. So we have here water, light, air, soil, and space to grow. So our lesson today, or our topic today, is about soil. So first of all, we have to know together what is meant by soil. What is the meaning of soil? So soil, it means loose layer which covers the earth's crust. Or we can say it's a delicate skin. The same meaning. But the most common keyword here is loose layer. So what is meant by loose layer? It means that soil contains the fragments or particles, okay? So soil, it is the loose layer which covers the earth's crust. So the key word here is loose layer. All right. Now we have a crucial question, which is what happens to the soil if the temperature in the environment increases? What do you think? By the way, we said before when the temperature increases, of course, we have now hot weather. So when we have hot weather, evaporation process will be more than precipitation. And some lakes can dry up in these conditions. So what about soil? Also, soil will dry. Not only dry, but also it can lose its nutrients. So the soil will dry and lose its nutrients. Here, from this picture, we can find that we have many colors of the soil. We have here brown, we have black or dark, we have gray, we have yellow. So we can conclude that we don't have only one type of soil, but we have many types of soil. So in this concept, in our curriculum, we are going to talk about only 3 types of soil. So how many types of soil we are going to study them together? 3. 3 types of soil. Sand, silt, clay. ممكن نغنيها حتى. Sand, silt, clay. Sand, silt, clay. طبعا, as we can see here, the sand soil has yellow color, of course, and silt has gray. We are gonna show a real picture for silt soil. And finally, clay, which has dark or black color. So, if we want to make a comparison, simple comparison at the beginning of our concept among 3 types of soil. For example, here for the shape, so this is the shape or the color of sand, which has yellow color. Silt has gray color, as I told you. And the clay, finally, it has dark or black color. What about texture or particles? Sand has large particles. Yeah, it has large particles. While silt, it has medium particles. And finally, clay has small particles. So the first point of comparison here, it was about the color. So sand has yellow color, and its particles are large. While silt has gray color and medium particles, and finally clay has dark or black color and small particles. What about the differences and similarities between them? Of course, we have differences according to the color, the size of particles, and the textures. While similarities, all of them are formed in nature, and all types of soil keep the life on Earth. All of them are important, by the way. So now we are gonna talk about what are components of the soil, or we can say what is the structure of the soil, what is the ingredients of the soil. So what are components? Here from this picture we can say this is called the gravel. الحصى الصغير ده أو الزلط الصغير ده بنسميه gravel. So number one, soil made from sand, gravel, and minerals. Again, sand, gravel, and minerals. All of them are formed due to breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces through weathering process that we already studied before in grade 4, if you remember. By the way, we are going to revise them again, all of these process. So the first component of the soil is sand, gravel, and minerals. The second one, organic materials. Organic materials like what? Like dead plants or dead animals, dead plants. Okay. Number 3. سامعاك يا اللي بتقول ايه القرف ده او يع بنقول سبحان الله. تمام. Number 3, living organisms such as worms. زي الارث worms طبعا، ودي من الورمز مهمة جدا جدا جدا. يبقى احنا قلنا لغاية دلوقتي 3 components of the soil. Number 1 it was sand, gravel, and minerals. Number 2 we said organic materials like dead plants. Number 3 we said worms, living organisms like worms. Finally, no, not finally. Number 4 we have water, last but not least, water. And here finally we have air. There is air, of course, among the spaces between rocks. So we can say we have 5 important components of the soil. Now, what is the importance of the soil? Let's get started. Number 1. By the way, it's an important question that comes a lot, especially in the final exams, as I give reason. Give reason soil is important. Why soil is important? Number 1, it provides the plant with its basic needs. Basic needs like what? Like water, like minerals, or nutrients, like air. Okay? So it provides the plant with its basic needs. What else? We can say that people and animals feed on plants to survive. By the way, people or humans can feed on plants, okay? And also animals, most of animals feed on plants. And then we feed on these animals that feed on plants. We feed on rabbits, which are herbivorous. What else? Also carnivorous, or animals that feed on meat. By the way, finally they feed on animals that feed on plants. So plants is the most important thing in our life or on the earth planet, and plants need soil to grow. So that we can say people and animals feed on plants to survive. What about those? Soil acts as home or shelter for some living organisms, like what? Like fungi, bacteria, worms, and insects. Of course, you know worms and insects and bacteria. What about fungi? Fungi like mushroom. Okay. So, for examples here, fungi, bacteria, worms, and insects. Now, we are going to talk about inorganic materials. What is meant by inorganic materials? By the way, inorganic materials, it means non-living components of the soil. Like what? Like air, water, rocks, and minerals. So again, inorganic materials are non-living things, or we can say non-living components of the soil, like air, water, rocks, and minerals. So I want each one of you to be focused, because we can say here that soil can be classified according to the components into two things, okay? organic materials and inorganic materials. يعني we can say that we have two types of components inside the soil, organic and inorganic. What is meant by inorganic? Inorganic non-living components like air, water, rocks, and minerals. And also you have to know that minerals are the building units or the building blocks of rocks. الديفينيشن ده أو scientific term ده مهم جدا. So minerals they are building units or building blocks of rocks. زي كده فاكرين في الترم الأول لما قلنا cell is the main building unit of the living organism أو of the body. نفس الكلام. Minerals are the building units of rocks. طيب how can inorganic materials form? We said by three main processes that happen on Earth's planet. Number one, weathering. Number two, erosion. Number three, deposition. Could you repeat it again? Weathering, erosion, deposition. Let's remember together each one of them. Weathering, it means breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces due to the effect of water and wind. Okay, so the key word here of weathering is breaking down, breaking down. After breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces, what will happen? We can say that we have now a small piece of rocks which are light, they can be carried easily, they can be transported from their place into a new place. So the second process here is erosion. Erosion, it means movement of rocks from one place to another. We can say movement, we can say transportation. Movement or transportation. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Small pieces of rocks will be carried forever? Will be transported by wind or water forever? Of course not. They will settle down or lay down into a new place. Finally, so this process called deposition. When small pieces of rocks are deposited or laying down or settle down in a new place and mix with other ingredients of this place, this process called deposition. Deposition. Okay? So how many processes that we have? 3: weathering, erosion, and deposition. Now we are going to talk about organic materials. So what are organic materials? They are living components of the soil, or we can say vital components of the soil. How? We have two organic materials, which are remains of dead plants and animals, and we have decomposers. I think you heard about these expressions before, especially decomposers in grade 5 if you remember. So again, organic materials are remains of dead plants and animals. What about decomposers? Decomposers like fungi, bacteria, and earthworms. Okay, fungi, bacteria, and earthworms. What do you think? What is the importance of decomposers inside the soil? So, decomposers feed on remains of dead plants and animals. So, when they feed on, or we can say, when they feed on remains of dead plants and animals, they breaking down them. Okay? So, this process called decomposition. When the decomposition process happens, when dead plants and dead animals are broken down, there are nutrients released. Nutrients are released to the soil, which are important and essential for the soil. Nutrients like what? Like carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Okay? Carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. So, give reason 4. Decomposers play an important role in the formation of the soil. ودي من الحاجات المهمة جدا والأسئلة المهمة. ليه؟ Because it recycles the remains of plants, dead plants and animals into nutrients. مين هي nutrients دي؟ Carbon, nitrogen and oxygen which are released into the soil. الإجابة مش كبيرة ولا حاجة just بس الفونت هو اللي كبير. يبقى هنقول because it recycles mean remains of dead plants, dead animals. خلصنا نص الإجابة. into nutrients اللي هي مين؟ carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. شكرا. كده احنا قلنا why decomposers are important for the soil. So, what will happen when these elements released into the soil, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen? They make the soil fertile. Did you remember what we said before? What is meant by fertile? Exactly. It makes the soil suitable for planting, rich with nutrients. So, when these nutrients released into the soil, these nutrients called humus. Humus, مش hummus. Huh? Humus. So humus, it's an organic material, okay, which increases the soil fertility that helps plants to grow. So we can define humus as an organic material that is rich in nutrients, اللي هي carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, produced from the decomposition of dead organisms. And of course, it increases the soil fertility that helps plants to grow. طيب آخر حاجة معانا هنا إن لازم نعرف إن ال minerals and organic materials represent about half of the soil. يعني الستراكتر بتاع السويل half نصها مكون من minerals and organic materials. طيب what about the other half? The other half of the soil consists of spaces between particles. These spaces are known as pore spaces or pores only. الاتنين صح. يا إما بقول عليهم pores بس يا إما pore spaces. طب spaces دي بتبقى فيها إيه؟ يا إما water يا إما air. بس كده. وده كان part 1 من soil and environmental changes. Thank you for watching and listening. شكرا إن انتوا كملتوا الفيديو للآخر. مع السلامة.